My beloved child, wait, before you move forward, feel this moment carefully, because something around you is shifting in ways you cannot fully see yet, and yet, somehow, you already sense it. Not clearly. Not completely. But enough to pause. Have you noticed that quiet feeling lately, like something is happening just out of view, as if there's movement behind the surface of your life, but no obvious sign to explain it? Stay here for a second. Because this is where everything begins. There are times when life doesn't reveal its changes openly, it works quietly, behind the scenes, adjusting things you don't even realize needed to be adjusted. And while it does that, you continue moving, thinking everything is the same. But it isn't. Not anymore. Because something has already begun. Let that settle in. Right now, you are standing in a space where things are aligning, silently, precisely. Without needing your attention, until now. And the fact that you are here, in this moment, feeling this awareness, means you are beginning to notice. Don't skip this, because this is where most people look away. They wait for something obvious. Something loud. Something that confirms everything immediately. But the most meaningful shifts don't arrive like that. They start as a feeling. A subtle awareness. A quiet sense that something is unfolding. Even if you cannot yet explain it. And that is exactly what you are experiencing. Pause. Because this next realization will change how you see everything. You are not just sensing change. You are part of it. Something behind the scenes has been moving, not randomly, not loosely, but with intention. Small moments aligning. Decisions connecting. Paths adjusting, without you realizing how close they are coming together. And within all of that, there is someone. Someone who has already reached a level of clarity, someone who understands direction, who sees patterns, who notices what others overlook. And without even realizing it at first, their attention has begun to shift. Toward you. Not loudly. Not directly. But quietly. In a way that builds, instead of appearing suddenly. Let that sit with you. Because this is not about chance. This is about recognition beginning before introduction. Stay till the end. Because what you're starting to understand has been forming for longer than you think. This person is not distracted by noise. They don't move toward everything. They notice what stands out, not on the surface, but underneath. And somehow, something about you has entered that awareness. Not fully yet. Not clearly yet. But enough to pause. Enough to observe. Enough to feel that something about you is worth paying attention to. And here's what makes this moment even more powerful. While their awareness is moving toward you, you are changing too. In ways you may not have fully noticed. Your thoughts are becoming clearer. Your attention is shifting. Your energy is moving away from what no longer fits, and toward something more aligned. That is not coincidence. That is preparation. Because before something meaningful becomes visible in your life, everything begins to adjust behind the scenes. And that is exactly what is happening now. Two movements. Separate. Yet connected. Two paths. unaware of each other at first, yet slowly aligning toward the same point. And right now, you are getting closer to that point. Don't skip this, because this is where the deeper layer begins. The reason this is happening now is not just timing. It is readiness. You are not the same person you were before. And neither are they. Both of you have reached a place where something more meaningful can begin. And that is why this moment feels different. Because it is not based on chance. It is based on alignment. And alignment does not rush. It unfolds exactly when everything is ready. Pause for a moment. Because something important is waiting for you to realize it. You don't need to search for this. You don't need to force anything. Because what is meant to align with you will naturally move into your life. Without pressure. Without confusion. Without you needing to question it constantly. It will feel calm. Clear. Right. And that is how you will recognize it. But before that moment becomes visible, there is still something happening behind the scenes. Something precise. Something intentional. This person's attention is growing. Not all at once, but step by step. A thought turning into curiosity. Curiosity turning into focus. Focus turning into awareness. And without even realizing it, they are moving closer. Not physically yet, but mentally, emotionally, in ways that will soon become real. And that movement is bringing them toward a moment where everything connects. Pause again. Because this is where most people lose patience. They want immediate clarity, immediate results. But the most meaningful things do not appear instantly. They build. They align. They prepare. So that when they arrive, they are undeniable. And that is exactly what is happening now. Something is building. Something is aligning. Something is preparing to step into your life. In a way that will not feel forced. It will feel natural. As if it was always meant to happen. But here's the deeper truth. This is not just about someone paying attention to you. It is about what that attention represents. Recognition. Not surface-level recognition. But something deeper. Something real. Because when someone who understands clarity, who sees beyond distractions, begins to notice you, it means something in you has reached a level that cannot be overlooked. And that is what is happening here. Stay a little longer. Because this next realization is quiet, but powerful. You are not becoming visible to everyone. You are becoming visible to the right person. And that is why it feels different. Because this is not about attention. It is about alignment. And when alignment begins, everything changes. Not all at once. Not dramatically. But clearly. Calmly. In a way that makes sense. But not yet. Not fully. Because there is still one more layer unfolding. One more moment preparing. One more shift aligning both sides for what comes next. And when that final alignment happens, this quiet attention will no longer remain behind the scenes. It will step forward. Naturally. Clearly. Undeniably. And that is when you will begin to understand why everything had to unfold this way, and why this moment was never random. My beloved child, wait, don't move past this moment too quickly, because something has already begun, and the only way to truly feel it is to slow down just enough to notice what most people miss. Not with your eyes, not with your thoughts, but with that quiet awareness inside you that has been growing stronger without you even realizing it. And if you listen closely, you can feel it now. Something is shifting. Not loudly. Not dramatically. But deeply. Have you noticed how certain things around you feel slightly different, even if nothing obvious has changed? Stay here for a moment, because this is where everything starts to unfold. There are times when life begins to rearrange itself behind the scenes, adjusting details so precisely that you don't even realize what's happening until much later. And during that time, everything seems normal on the surface, but underneath, everything is moving. That is where you are right now. Inside a quiet transformation. Not waiting for something to begin, but already inside it. Pause. Because this next realization is important. You are not imagining this feeling. You are not overthinking. You are becoming aware. And awareness is the first sign that something meaningful is about to enter your life. Not something forced. Not something chaotic. But something aligned. Something that has been forming, patiently, carefully, without needing your attention, until now. Let that settle in. Because what is happening around you is not random. It is intentional. There are moments aligning. Decisions connecting. Paths adjusting, without you seeing how close they are coming together. And within all of that, there is someone. Someone who carries a certain presence, a quiet strength, a clarity that shapes the way they move through life. Not loud. Not obvious. But impactful. And without you realizing it at first. Their awareness has begun to move. Toward you. Not suddenly. Not dramatically. But steadily. Like a thought that returns, again and again, until it can no longer be ignored. Stay till the end. Because what you're beginning to understand has been building for longer than you think. This person does not move toward everything. They are selective. They notice what stands out beyond the surface. They recognize depth, authenticity, alignment. And somehow, something about you has entered that awareness. Not fully yet. Not clearly yet. But enough. Enough to pause. Enough to observe. Enough to feel that something about you is worth understanding. Let that thought sit with you. Because this is not about coincidence. This is about recognition beginning before introduction. Pause again. Because this is where everything deepens. While their awareness is moving toward you, you are changing too. Quietly. Naturally. Without forcing it. The way you think is shifting. The way you see your path is becoming clearer. The way you respond to things that once confused you is becoming calmer, more grounded. That is not random. That is preparation. Because before something meaningful enters your life, you are moved into the version of yourself that can receive it. And that is exactly what is happening now. Two movements. Separate, yet connected. Two paths. Unaware of each other at first, yet slowly aligning toward the same moment. And right now, you are getting closer to that moment. Don't skip this, because this is where most people lose clarity. They expect something obvious, something immediate. But real alignment does not announce itself loudly. It builds quietly, until it reaches a point where it can no longer stay hidden. And that is where you are approaching. Have you noticed how certain things are beginning to fall away, without effort? Not dramatically. Not painfully. Just naturally. Things that once held your attention, no longer feel the same. Situations that once felt important, now feel distant. That is not loss. That is space being created. Because when something meaningful is about to enter your life, there must be room for it. And that space is being created right now. Stay here for a moment. Because this next realization is subtle, but powerful. You don't need to search for this. You don't need to chase anything. Because what is aligned with you will move toward you. Without pressure. Without confusion. Without needing to be forced. And that is exactly what is happening. This person's attention is not being pushed. It is forming. Slowly. Steadily. A thought turning into curiosity. Curiosity turning into focus. Focus turning into awareness. And without even realizing it, they are moving closer. Not physically yet, but mentally, emotionally, in a way that will soon become real. Pause again. Because this is where everything shifts. This is no longer just about something happening behind the scenes. This is about something preparing to become visible. Something moving from unseen to felt, to recognized. And when that transition happens, you will feel it immediately. Not as confusion, not as doubt, but as clarity. A calm understanding that something meaningful is unfolding. And you are part of it. Don't skip this, because this is where the transformation begins. As this connection continues to develop, you will begin to notice changes within yourself. Not forced, not dramatic, but real. The way you carry yourself becomes more steady. The way you think becomes more focused. The way you see your own potential becomes clearer. And without trying, you begin to align more deeply with what is meant for you. And that alignment makes everything easier to recognize. Because clarity does not need to be chased. It appears when everything is in place. And that is exactly what is happening now. Things are coming into place. Quietly. Precisely. At the right time. Stay a little longer. Because this next realization changes everything. You are not being noticed randomly. You are being recognized. There is a difference. Being noticed can be temporary. But being recognized means something real has been seen. Something that cannot be ignored. Something that aligns deeply. And that is what is happening here. This person is not just paying attention. They are beginning to understand. To feel. To recognize. Something in you. That matches something in them. And that kind of recognition creates connection. Not forced. Not rushed. But real. And once it begins, it grows. Quietly. Steadily. Until it becomes undeniable. Pause. Because this is where everything comes together. Right now. You are standing at the edge of something meaningful. Not fully visible yet. Not completely clear yet. But close. Closer than you think. Because the alignment is already in place. The awareness is already forming. The connection is already beginning. And what remains is the moment where everything steps forward. The moment where what has been happening behind the scenes becomes real, becomes visible, becomes undeniable. But not yet. Not fully. Because there is still one more layer. One more shift. One more moment aligning both sides for what comes next. And when that happens, everything will make sense. Every feeling. Every change. Every quiet moment that seemed unclear before. It will all connect. And you will realize that nothing about this was random. Nothing about this was accidental. Everything was leading here. To this moment. To this shift. To this connection. And what happens next is where everything you have been sensing finally reveals itself, in a way you will not just see, but understand completely. It happens when you least expect it, not at a dramatic turning point, not during a moment you were waiting for, but in the middle of something ordinary, where your guard is down and your attention is soft. And that is exactly why you will feel it so clearly. Because nothing will be trying to convince you. Nothing will be trying to impress you. It will simply be. Stay here for a moment, because this is where everything becomes real in a way you can finally recognize. You may find yourself in a simple interaction, a conversation that begins without intention, a moment that feels routine on the surface. But beneath that simplicity, something will shift. Not in what is said, but in how it is felt. A pause that feels deeper than it should. A tone that carries more meaning than expected. A presence that feels familiar, even though it shouldn't. And in that instant, something inside you will respond. Not loudly. Not with excitement. But with clarity. A quiet awareness that says, "This matters." Pause, let that settle. Because this is not imagination. This is recognition beginning. This person, the one whose attention has been quietly moving toward you, will not feel like a stranger in the usual sense. There will be no heaviness, no confusion, no sense of distance that needs to be overcome. Instead, there will be ease. A natural rhythm. A flow that doesn't need to be created, because it already exists. And that is how you will know. Not through logic, but through feeling. Don't skip this, because this next part is where the depth reveals itself. At first, nothing may seem extraordinary. A few words exchanged. A brief moment shared. Something that could easily be overlooked by anyone else. But for you, it will not pass that easily. Because something will stay. A thought that lingers. A feeling that continues. A quiet pull that keeps bringing your awareness back to that moment. And without even trying, you will begin to notice more. The way this person listens, not just hearing, but understanding. The way they respond, not reacting, but choosing. The way their presence feels, steady, grounded, clear. And in that noticing, something inside you will begin to align. Not with pressure. Not with urgency. But with recognition. A calm realization that you are experiencing something different. Something real. And at the same time, something similar will be happening within them. Because this connection is not one-sided. While you are becoming aware, they are becoming certain. Not in a rushed way, but in a quiet understanding that this moment, this interaction, carries meaning beyond what is visible. Stay till the end, because this is where everything deepens. There will come a moment, small, almost unnoticeable at first, where the surface begins to open. Not completely. Not all at once. But enough. Enough for something deeper to reveal itself. Maybe through a question that feels more intentional. Maybe through a silence that feels more comfortable than words. Maybe through a shared perspective that feels unexpectedly aligned. And in that moment, you will feel it. Clearly. This is not random. And once that realization forms, everything begins to shift. Because from that point forward, you are no longer observing. You are experiencing. And that changes everything. But here's what most people don't understand. The power of this moment is not in how fast it grows, but in how naturally it unfolds. There will be no need to force anything. No need to create something that isn't already there. No need to overthink every detail. Because what is aligned does not need to be pushed. It reveals itself. Layer by layer. Moment by moment. Until it becomes undeniable. Pause again. Because this next realization will change how you see this connection. This person's presence will not feel overwhelming. It will feel grounding. It will not pull you away from yourself. It will bring you closer to who you truly are. And that is how you will know this is aligned. Because anything truly meant for you does not create confusion. It creates clarity. Even if that clarity unfolds slowly. And that is exactly what is happening now. A quiet unfolding. A gentle revealing. A connection moving from unseen to felt, to understood. Don't skip, because this is where the transformation begins. As this connection continues to develop, you will begin to notice subtle changes within yourself. Not forced. Not dramatic. But real. The way you think becomes clearer. The way you respond becomes more intentional. The way you see your own path becomes more focused. And without trying, you begin to align more deeply with what truly matters to you. And this person will reflect that alignment back to you. Not by telling you who you are,